On the frozen cliffs of Nuke, Greenland, the terminal alarm on a German Iris-T battery screams. Its radar signature is suddenly mirrored by 300 ghost targets. A Russian Zircon M is closing the gap at Mach 9, and the interceptors are locking on to thin air. The system isn't just failing, it is being recoded in real time. Russia is seeking to gain dominance in Greenland, aiming to push back NATO countries there, and today, they have chosen Germany as their opponent. With only 11 seconds until impact, the German commander makes a decision that defies every NATO protocol. He isn't trying to shoot it down anymore. He is inviting it in and extinguishing Russia's dream of taking over this place. It is no coincidence that Russia is clashing with Germany. Tensions over Greenland are at their highest. Moscow has set its sights on the mineral-rich depths of the Arctic and the strategic high ground of Greenland. They intend to turn the North Atlantic into a private Russian lake. By striking this Arctic outpost, NATO's northern eye, they aim to paralyze Germany's strategic monitoring. This ensures no reinforcements ever reach the icy north. In a hardened command center deep within Kenrad, Admiral Volkov watches a glowing holographic map of Operation Winter Shadow. His primary weapon isn't the Zircon M, it is the Ether 5, a specialized electronic warfare suite that has turned the German radar's own signals against it. But Russia's ambition is far greater. While that Zircon M screams towards the coastline, Moscow's real operation is happening 200 meters below the surface. A 4,000-ton improved Kilo-class submarine is hovering silently over the fiber optic arteries of the North Atlantic. It is deploying a swarm of high-precision ROVs. Their mechanical claws are poised to sever the cables that handle billions in daily trade. The goal is simple: starve Germany's economy to deprive Ukraine's front lines of funding. On the surface, 3 80,000-ton shadow tankers are performing a synchronized anchor drag. Their GPS transponders are disabled, and their hulls are caked in rust. It is a tactical sleight of hand for 2026. They are being steered to physically crush the undersea sensors that monitor NATO's perimeter. Volkov feels a sense of satisfaction watching the German command center struggle with 300 unpredictable Brave M drones. His tactical AI predicts a 98% probability that the German battery will fire its entire payload into the Ghost Swarm. This would leave the corridor wide open for a full-scale Russian breakthrough. Germany understands that the 300 targets on radar could be a swarming illusion. P-8 Poseidon patrol planes are immediately deployed to the area. Ironically, their $1 million radar screens have just dissolved into a wall of white noise. Russia has effectively turned NATO's net-centric superiority against itself. The German fleet is left blind, deaf, and isolated. The tankers are slipping through the blockade, and the undersea cables are seconds away from failure. But as the Zircon M screams into the final 2,000 meters, Russian telemetry registers an anomaly. The German battery isn't panicking. It isn't firing. Instead, every German sensor, radar, thermal, and acoustic, goes pitch black. In a move that sends confusion through the Russian bunker, the German commander cuts the power to his entire defense grid. He has vanished from the digital world entirely. Just as the Mach 9 Predator arrives, the Black Hole Kilo-class submarine is already pivoting. The Russian captain orders the deployment of the SC, a modified towed sonar array weaponized with diamond-tipped shears. As the submarine slides towards the Greenland edge, the scythe drags across the seabed. It snags the secondary NATO communication cables with a sickening mechanical jolt. The fibers snap instantly. The data flow to NATO's Northern Command collapses by 40%. Oil prices spike by $15 per barrel. Data transit fees skyrocket as European markets are forced to reroute traffic through Russian-controlled hubs. On the surface, the chaos escalates into a staged disaster. The shadow tanker Chariotide suddenly belches thick black smoke into the Arctic air. Engine failure. We are drifting. The Russian crew broadcast across every open channel. It is a tactical lie. The ship is perfectly under control, but its 20-ton anchor is being lowered onto the primary transatlantic cable junction. If that anchor drags, the backbone of the Western Internet will be physically shredded. The sky over the German position has become a literal cloud of static. Over 300 Brave M drones are buzzing military bases and nuclear power plants. The collective hum sounds like a swarm of angry hornets. Evacuation sirens scream across Nuuk as civilian airport radars go haywire. In the cockpit of a Finnish NH-90 helicopter, the pilot's heart hammers against his ribs. He watches his GPS map spin uselessly. "Those Ruskies are nuts," his co-pilot yells over the rotor wash. He banks the chopper hard, descending to just 6 meters above the freezing swell. He is trying to find the tanker through the visual fog because his sensors are dead. The German police cutter, Potam, is pushing its engines to the breaking point. It cuts through 4-meter waves at 30 knots to intercept the Chariot tide. The boarding team is ready, but the Merman B-N jamming resets their systems every time they sink. They are 10 minutes behind, and in the 2026 battle space, 10 minutes is an eternity. Below them, the Russian submarine slips quietly under a massive ice shelf. One wrong move, and the North Atlantic turns into the flashpoint for a third world war. Russia's submarines are sneaking around like kids in a cookie jar. They believe they have blinded everyone and gained the upper hand in the Arctic power play. But as Admiral Volkov smirks in his bunker, he fails to notice a subtle change in the water temperature. High above, a German P-8 Poseidon activates its quantum echo jam. This isn't your grandfather's radar. Imagine the Russian jamming as a giant shouting into a room. Instead of covering its ears, the P-8 uses a quantum algorithm to record that shout and throw it back as a mirror image. In less than 50 milliseconds, the system filters out the Russian white noise. It transforms the ghost swarm from a Russian weapon into a German tracking tool. The German operators are using Russia's own jamming signal to pinpoint the submarine's exact location. On the surface, the NH-90 helicopter pilot sees his chance. "Target lock confirmed visually. Commencing boarding," he barks. The chopper hovers dangerously low as elite German special forces fast roll onto the slippery deck. The commandos activate next-gen thermal imagers that slice through the smoke. In a blur of high-intensity action, they breach the bridge and seize the ship's encrypted tactical logs. These logs contain the secret acoustic handshakes for the Kilo-class submarine lurking below. These files are the digital holy grail, revealing the exact frequencies the submarine uses to communicate. By seizing these logs, the Germans have stolen the submarine's only way to tell friend from foe. Now, the German trap closes. They project a ghost echo directly into the Russian submarine's sensors. Using the stolen codes, the P-8's AI executes a masterstroke of acoustic spoofing. It projects the deadly accurate signature of an incoming Mk-48 torpedo, closing in at 60 knots. To the Russian sonar, the high-pitched whine is indistinguishable from a real kill shot. Deep underwater, the Russian captain's face goes pale. "Emergency blow! Surface! Surface!" he screams as panic erupts in the hold. The 4,000-ton Black Hole submarine erupts through the waves like a wounded whale. It surfaces right into the waiting sights of the German fleet. Non-lethal, precise, and humiliating. This smart tech just saved billions in infrastructure and prevented a potential world war. Russia's expensive electronic warfare suite just proved to be its own worst enemy. But as the sub sits dead in the water, the Russian captain has a desperate glint in his eye. He isn't out of moves yet. Deep below the hull, a hidden mini-rock, the Scythe 2, ignites its thrusters. It is a mechanical suicide sprint towards the primary transatlantic cable. It only needs 30 seconds of chaos to physically shred the fibers and plunge the European economy into darkness. To buy those 30 seconds, the Russian crew on the Chariot tide goes all in. They ignite a massive wall of magnesium flares, turning the Arctic night into a blinding white hellscape. Simultaneously, a fresh swarm of Brave M drones buzzes the German frigate like a cloud of angry hornets. The German frigate does not waste expensive interceptor missiles on these cheap pests. Instead, it activates a high-power microwave emitter. An invisible wall of energy fries the drone's flight controllers in a microsecond. One by one, the Brave M swarms lose their brains and drop from the sky like lead weights. But 6 of the drones do not fall. These are alpha units equipped with hardened autonomous AI and passive optical tracking. They scream towards the frigate's bridge, closing the 500-meter gap in seconds. The frigate's 35mm Millennium gun pivots with robotic speed. It lets out a terrifying roar, spitting out a cloud of ahead ammunition. The remaining drones are shredded mid-air, transformed into metallic confetti just yards before impact. The perimeter is finally green. The German crew breathes a sigh of relief. "Don't be overconfident. He's going for the cable," the commander roars. All units, weapons free for kinetic suppression. High above, the P-8 Poseidon pilot banks hard, diving towards the spread. He releases a string of active sonar hammers, non-lethal depth charges set to detonate at 500 feet. The sea erupts in a series of massive rhythmic geysers. These are designed to create a cataclysmic acoustic pressure wave. Underwater, the effect is like a sledgehammer hitting a gong. The Russian sub shakes like a rodeo bull in a thunderstorm. The shockwave is so violent that it physically warps the Scythe II's chassis. The ROV dies 3 meters from the cable, drifting harmlessly into the abyss. On the deck of the Chariot Tide, German KSK commandos clear the bridge in 12 seconds. Russian crew members are neutralized. The anchor winch is disabled. The Zircon missile suddenly loses its mid-course relay from the submerged sub. The German battery, powered back on at the last second, launches a salvo of high-velocity interceptors. A massive fireball erupts across the night sky, raining debris into the Arctic Sea. A $13 million pyrotechnic display marks the end of Russia's gamble. The Black Hole submarine is now bobbing on the waves like a cork. Admiral Volkov's tactical AI is left processing a 100% failure rate. Russia's invisible fleet has been obliterated. Germany has secured the biggest intelligence win of the century. The Arctic remains a NATO lake, and the supply lines to Ukraine are more secure than ever. But don't be fooled. The Arctic might be calm for now. In the halls of the Kremlin, the gears are already turning for a more desperate retaliation. Stay tuned, because Russia is definitely not done scheming. Now it's your turn. If you were the German commander, what would be your next move? Would you use microwave bursts or laser interception? Let us know your choice in the comments and smash that subscribe button. Bye for now.